Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Mumbai in beautiful Maharashtra in India. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. We did it. We made it back to Mumbai.
We did.
And we're feeling it. We just went for a... Truthfully, if you want to, in all truth, I just went for a tough. They made my... I'm trying to be good.
What's the
Okay.
matter? What's
So I had khichdi for breakfast. I had a rough meal, and I'm on a really regulated diet right now because Mara's like lovingly putting a knife in my back, and I've been good. I've been good. The doctor says I got to lose weight. I got to exercise more. My blood panel was a big fiasco.
Are you grumpy today?
Now,
are you grumpy?
I wasn't, but now I am. Now I'm very, very grumpy.
Had a rough meal.
So listen. So I have this idea. I am going to walk to, I'm like 3 rounds away. So I'm trying to walk.
Your hotel
every
from
day.
the restaurant?
That's my,
you mean?
This is my new obsession. The steps. What is it? The app, the health app on your iPhone. I'm trying to walk like 18,000 steps a day.
Okay.
So I was all excited to walk, and I got caught up at the restaurant. They just serve. I was like, you know what? I'm going to eat so simple. All I had today was khichdi. I'm going to order a thing of khichdi. The thing was so hot, spicy hot. I was like,
oh, yeah.
I can't eat this khichdi. I love hot. It was so hot.
Here.
I know. And then I ordered a lassi, a simple lassi.
Well, now that lassi is like drinking like a blended cheesecake.
It's like syrup. It's like drinking Aunt Jemima's syrup.
Yeah. So
a cup of it
problem?
with a tablespoon of. Yeah.
So the lassi was to cool down your mouth from the hot khichdi.
Yeah, and that didn't work because it was too sweet. I couldn't even eat it. And then there was it was a tough meal.
I can tell you what to do with that
couldn't find his
restaurant,
hotel.
If you want to have a nice
Prabhu, does it
meal,
get more conservative? Does it get more conservative? I'm in a restaurant. They serve pizza. They serve skewers. They serve like all these elaborate Chinese food, double-decker grilled cheese.
I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm not saying it's your fault.
I ordered khichdi.
I'm not saying it's your fault.
Way off.
Would you like to hear or no? I can help you, Raghunath. No, you don't.
Go,
okay,
go,
I won't.
Go. You tell me.
What you do is you order a thali for 2 people, right? And it comes with dal and rice, because it's too much for one person. You buy one thing and it's good for 2 people, and then if you want to get a little something on the side, like a little chas on the side, now you're talking. And then you have a nice.
I can do tali. Sometimes they're a little boring. Sometimes they're a little boring.
You can't have it both
Those
ways.
Khichdi's boring too. I'm trying my best, man. This diet. Okay. I've lost weight. Hey, I've noticeably lost weight. Jiva G Life Coaching
here. Lost a little weight. Yeah.
I did lose weight. Jiva G's like, can't believe it.
You look great, Raghunath. You look great.
Thank you.
Okay.
We're gonna do. I'd love to hear a show of hands on the board. Who would be excited for Jiva G Bhakti Recovery Group? What can I say? Podcast. Wouldn't that be great?
Oh, it'd be very cool.
The woman is a wealth of information, wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
I think when we take our trip to Goa, we're gonna figure out how to do that.
Maybe we can make like, how they have those podcasts where they split off and they're making lots of podcasts out of like one kind of.
Like start a family of podcasts.
Exactly.
Like so Ram Dass does.
I didn't know Ram Dass did that, but okay. So
yeah,
what I'm saying
he's part of a family of network.
Okay, fine. What I'm saying is Jiva G would be a good place. I think Dunya would be a good place to start. I think just those two right there, those would be powerful. People would listen to those.
I think so too.
Okay. Then we can
spin-offs like the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Okay.
Right? You had Phyllis.
Yeah.
You had Maud. That was a spin-off
Georgette.
of
What about Georgette?
Georgette, that wasn't a spin-off, was it?
I don't know.
Oh, you know what? You know what it was?
I like Georgette.
Who was the boss on Mary Tyler Moore? Trivia question. Mundane trivia. Forgive me. Do you know? Lou Grant. Lou Grant show. Remember that was a show too.
That became a big show.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about something more serious and important.
Yes, tell me.
I just want to share a few thoughts that I had coming out. Now we've left the Eco Village, and I just want to share thoughts. You said we've done it all. I felt new and special feelings. I want to talk about.
Okay. Okay. I want you to get a little bit. I'd appreciate if you get a little bit more serious. I think even still, you're not as serious as you should be right now.
I'm 100% serious.
Reel it in. Reel it in and get serious. Go.
So last night was the last night. And it was just getting dark. I was coming in a little bit late, and you were all up at Man Mandir, okay?
Yeah.
So Man Mandir is, again, it's just like many of the places in the Vrindavan Gardens in the Eco Village. It's a recreation of a very special place in the Vraj area of northern India, where Krishna and Radha had all their pastimes. And Man Mandir is kind of like there's a gravity to that place, is there not?
Well, it's where Krishna is, trying to ask for forgiveness. It's where Radha goes when she's angry. That's her man. And Krishna's going, and there's this beautiful painting of Krishna. Radha Swami was actually explaining it to me in Mara. It was very beautiful. He says, look at the faces, Raghunath. Look at the faces.
Oh, yeah.
Look at how Krishna looks. He's so apologetic. And Radharani won't even look at him. And the Lalita Saki is trying to get their hands to touch. And it's just like, it brings up all these emotions. Usually we see Krishna as naughty or silly or funny. And this is where he's just got this sheepish, sad, apologetic look on his face.
And there's so much to that. In other words, what it's saying is that Radha's love for Krishna, or her love for God, is so deep and so real and so powerful. It's saying that love or that bhakti is more powerful than God. In other words, he lives for nothing but that. So much so that he becomes vulnerable to it, it even overpowers him. He becomes the beggar, right? Like her love is so strong that God himself, the most powerful of all beings, is reduced to a beggar, begging her to accept him back. It's a very deep, esoteric, beautiful, theological idea, right? And so that place, in the original Vraj, in the original Vrindavan, it's like, you have to climb this hill to get there. Hardly anybody goes there. I remember I was there once with Maharaj, with Radha Swami, like, oh man, it must have been 15 years ago or more. And I remember being up there with him at night. It was really beautiful. And there were many devotees there were doing kirtan. And he said, this place is untouched by materialists. You got to climb up this whole big steep stairs and everything just to get, unless you're going there for a spiritual reason, nobody comes here, and so that place is so pure, and the recreation of it, you can see Radha Swami's heart deeply going in. That place is very dear to him. He recreated it there in such a special way, isn't it? That the atmosphere in that spot,
it's magic.
It really is magic. It's a beautiful little temple with that incredible painting in it, and the cow dung, big round area floor, surrounded by the trees at the top of a hill. That place, you just step in there. What to speak of as the sun's going down, and it feels very special. So I'm at the bottom of that hill, and I hear all you and everybody up there chanting, and I hear now there's someone there. We can't openly talk about this, but one of the people on our trip is a young lady from a part of the world where it is illegal to practice bhakti, right?
Illegal. Like
Illegal.
you'll be in prison if not, and you'll just disappear. It's
And
not like
therefore
you won't even know what happened to this person. They'll just one day they come, they interrogate you. If there's a crack in your story, you will disappear and no one will know where you are. And it's happened.
That's scary stuff. And
Yeah.
therefore we can't speak too openly about it or give names or anything like that. But let us just say this person is so sincere, so qualified, so sattvic, so nice, such a good person. And that young lady is chanting, and I'm down at the bottom of the hill. I can hear that chanting going on, and I'm transported in that moment because there I am, because you were saying, I've never been to the Grand Canyon, but you're saying like being in the eco village is like being at the Grand Canyon because there's these massive mountains that are just like incredible stone cliffs, right?
Yeah. Like you're in the Grand Canyon itself. You just can see the face, like the north face of the mountain.
And when you see a cliff like that, it's nature, but it's an aspect of nature that's like beyond, like in other words, it's one thing to be around trees, but that cliff has been there for thousands of years, right? Like,
yeah,
like beyond thousands of years,
Sure.
So, and this is what I was thinking. I was having all these mixed thoughts. On one hand, I was thinking, India, there's no place in the world like it. Because I'm standing at the foot of that hill. And you know what? I can tell you for sure that not only 100 years ago, not only 500 years ago, not only 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, 50,000 years ago, people were chanting the names of Lord Ram, echoing off that hill. People were chanting the names of Krishna, echoing off in this land.
Yeah.
As farther back than anyone can calculate, this practice of bhakti yoga and these holy names have been resounding through the practice of kirtan just forever. It's made this place very special. And so as I was hearing that voice and as I was ascending up the hill and joining everyone there, I just had a very special feeling that we've been gifted something that we can't even begin to understand, that we are here and we are participating in that timeless practice. We've become part of it. We're echoing another nice thing about the eco village is because there's so many groups come there and they're chanting, and sometimes you're very far away. You hear the sounds echo from a distance. And it's like, wow, they're coming together. It's an interesting perspective to listen to kirtan from a great distance. It's like these people have come together with one voice and they're making a wave of spiritual potency together with their hearts and their voices. And now we're part of that timeless thing going on in this land. It's really something hard to really wrap your head around, but it touched me in a powerful way.
Because there were so many groups there in these last days, walking in that Vrindavan forest in the evening time, it reminded me of the old Vrindavan, of walking through on parikrama, the walk around the holy village, where you hear layers of kirtan merging into newer kirtans, those fading out, hearing another one. You just hear kirtans going around the entire campus, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm in another land now, another world.
And we should
me and Mara were joking, like, I don't know if you remember this, but if you grew up, in the tri-state area, they had Old Sturbridge Village. You ever see that? You ever go to Old Sturbridge Village? It's in Massachusetts. Old Sturbridge. It's like an old, like, what is it? Puritans or something? Google that up, Mara. It's like they got. It's like a field trip if you're in 8th grade and you see them out. They're making butter, and now they're baking bread, and they have outfits from the 1600s on. And here is where they put the bad guys in those. What are those things called? Oh, come on. What are you guys doing?
Stockades.
Yes.
Stockade.
So anyway, we were like, this is like the old Sturbridge Village. And we are like, because tourists come just to check out this place. Bus loads of faithful devotees come with their families. It's such a family thing. And they look around. It's like Vrindavan. And we come out like the white unicorns coming out, like chanting japa. Look, I saw a unicorn. I mean, we're a bunch of white people, doing all traditional things, walking around in dhotis, saying Jai Radhe. And they're like, yo! They're like, they love it. We're a bunch of unicorns they've discovered in their magical, Hindu Disneyland. That's what it is. It's like in Disneyland for Indians. They just go, it's a family day out. They eat, they sing, they dance, they eat a little more. They go to temples, they pray. Okay, Mara, what do you got for Sturbridge Village? Okay. A recreated 1830s rural New England town. You never went there. Anyway, we are the old Sturbridge Village. What did you do in school?
I don't know. It wasn't near me. Massachusetts is far away from you. Were in Connecticut. I went closer.
I went.
But in any case, yeah. Another feeling that I had was I felt within me like kind of this feeling like there is no doubt, that we should have no doubt that this vibration is powerful. Again, when I came to the top of the hill, that young lady was leading the kirtan. It was kind of a slow, kind of grave kirtan, and it was powerful. I could tell there was maybe 70 of us up there, maybe more, 100 of us up there.
No, there's more. There's like 100 of us last night.
Yeah, and I could just look around and feel that everyone was being deeply moved. Everybody was being deeply touched. I would say transformed by this sound. This sound is not ordinary. When we chant this Maha Mantra in particular, this sound is not an ordinary sound. These are full of potencies. These mantras and these names are full of potencies.
When Janeshwar did that interview, when Janeshwar did the interview the other day, he just said, yeah, I just started chanting. And it's interesting how chanting for some people is like, I don't get it. And some people like Janeshwar was like, yeah, and I just started chanting and I realized nothing is the same anymore. And there's something so powerful about this. And some people, it's almost as if, just like Lalita came on with her family yesterday, I was like, these people are bringing stuff from previous lives. They're traveling with people. Or like Janeshwar was just like, I started chanting and it was just like, it just made everything different. Yeah, there is something very, very powerful. And it's part of our work is to develop an attraction to it. Because right now we have an attraction to matter. And we think, oh yeah, matter is quite attractive. It's not. It's actually dull. It won't fulfill us. And time again, it's proved that to us.
Yep. Yeah.
How can I practice? That's what sadhana is, isn't it? It's just practicing.
We got to find ways to break things down and get together, as this stuff starts to spread more, as people start to catch on to this more, there's going to be like people around you more that are interested in kirtan.
Yeah.
And then you just get together, and like I said, we could have reached around and had so many different people lead a kirtan last night, but she was leading that kirtan and it was working, It wasn't nothing fancy there. It was just
a little
going
fancy
deep into that sound. I wouldn't say it was a fancy.
It was a little fancy. I couldn't follow it. It was like very, very, it was very like it wasn't Hare Krishna.
Well, my point, it was one person singing and one harmonium and a mridanga.
Yeah, it wasn't like a guy on a sax and a sitar going.
Yeah, but that wasn't that hard to follow.
Yeah.
And then you led a very nice kirtan after that as well. You entered a different. I think you were affected by that. You chanted a little bit different than you normally.
I chanted a little different, didn't I? You noticed.
I liked it.
I had a little. It was a little grave. There's a weightiness to it.
Yeah, I liked it. We'll work with that. Expand on that.
Well, I had this realization. You hear kirtan on a regular basis. You hear truth on a regular basis, and it starts to change the way you think. I mean, kirtan, it's a little bit more mystical, but hearing truth on a regular basis. I gave this analogy in class this morning because my mom, how she comes up with these she comes up with a very standard warnings like, don't take drugs, never take drugs. Are you taking drugs? You better not take drugs. Like pounded into my head since childhood.
Made a career out
and
of
then once I became a teenager, oh yeah, I made a whole career out of it. Right? But once I became a teenager, someone offers me drugs. It's like, no, can't take drugs. No drugs. And so I had a funny story where she had this. By the way, there's probably only about 30 things in her repertoire that she will tell me on a regular basis. for the last 57 years.
Don't
And
call
one
the
of them,
cops.
one of them was, are you going to a place where there's monkeys? Did I ever tell you this one?
No.
Be careful
I think
about
you did, yes.
monkeys. Be careful about monkeys, because I knew a couple that went on their honeymoon and there was a monkey, and the monkey pushed the bride off a cliff. And she's told me that story thousands of times.
That's why you're so into the marriage fail videos? Maybe it was like instilled in you by your mother.
Check this out. So one time, this is a really interesting Krishna conscious point I'm about to make.
Okay.
So one time I'm in Bali with my ex-wife, and we are driving over the mountains to get to the northern side of Bali. I'm on a motorcycle. My wife's on the back, and there's all these people sort of pulling off to the side of the road where a bunch of monkeys are hanging out on a cliff, and they're feeding the monkeys. And my wife's like, oh my God, they're feeding monkeys. Let's go feed the monkeys. And I was like, no. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? It's been drilled in my head. Never feed a monkey near a cliff. Now, my point is this. My point is, when you hear truth on a regular basis and your life comes to a fork in the road, what have you been pounding into your head? Have you been endorsing truth? Have you been rallying behind truth? Have you been reciting truth on a regular basis? Or have you been catering to illusion, catering to Maya, catering to just like mind going on autopilots, led by my lower nature? Hearing truth on a regular basis is cultivating intelligence. Because of that, I didn't play with that monkey. Who knows what could have happened, Kostuba? You should be more cautious. But my point is, this is what we're doing. We're hearing truth, or in fact, we're hearing the holy name. And it's rubbing off. It's rubbing off. Even if you feel like it's not rubbing off, trust me, or trust the sages. It is running off.
Hearing sound repeatedly, like it's sinking in, is your point.
Hearing either the mantras or the truth, or wisdom literature.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, very, very my gratitude to all the people that came out, that traveled long distances to be with us. It's not over yet. Tomorrow's the climax, the flower festival of it all. But still, I'm just feeling gratitude today.
Me too.
We haven't had the announcements yet today, have we?
Yeah. By the way, we had a beautiful graduation today. Wasn't that beautiful?
It was
Pitambar, the Pujari.
Pitambara, yeah.
He did the fire sacrifice. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. He was like
great.
He was sort of a showman, and he was sort of,
I mean, I don't think he was
religious, and he was ritual. No, he wasn't. But it was just, it was entertaining. It wasn't boring.
Right. Yeah.
Don't like elegant.
Sometimes those can get a little boring. If you want to know the truth, that's just me.
Right.
His mudras, his mantras, his mudras were like oh yeah. Mara's got something to say here.
Okay, Mara.
I was going to make announcements, although I did appreciate the yogi a lot, actually.
Okay.
We have an asana class with Josh Kane at 10:30 a.m. for our Patreon members. There's no show. Here's your phone, probably.
No show tomorrow.
There's no show tomorrow. And then Sunday's show will be at this time at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. We should also mention there's still some spots available if you want to come to Italy with us June 27th to July 4th. You can find out info at wisdomofthesages.com and then click on the events tab. And the Bhakti Recovery Group retreat in the UK, March 30th through April 2nd. And you can check out bhaktirecoverygroup.com for that info.
You know what else I was feeling, Raghunath?
Know that song?
I don't know
what.
That I'm feeling separation from all the people that aren't here, that have come to our past things in Italy and at Super Soul and in California and in Colombia and all.
You know what we should do? We should do Italian night at Super Soul. Italian weekend.
What does that mean?
I know somebody who's an excellent pizza chef.
Yeah, because Stuba's famous for pizza, Mara's famous for vegan meatballs, and I'm famous for overeating.
You ignored my point, Raghunath. It's not the food that I'm missing; it's the people.
Yeah, well, I'm saying invite people as well, not just you and me picking out of meatballs.
But I'm saying those people. In other words, I wish they all could be here with us for tomorrow's festival. That's my point.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
If you come to any of those previous things and you're not here, And maybe you're wishing like, oh, I wish I was there. Well, we wish you were here too. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
It's good. Okay.
Okay, you want to get in Bhagavatam? Should we do that?
So,
it's been a long
we're gonna
time. We've been interviewing
let's-
people.
It's been a long time. You know what? It's a long time, but I really think, hold on a second. There's a couple women just speaking like this, like there's not a podcast going on to 12,000 people. What do you think this
Tell
is?
Jiva to be
A
quiet.
Mets game? It's not Jiva. Jiva's sitting quietly.
Okay.
It's sort of Swedish and Mara. Clam it, ladies. Jeez.
Okay.
Anyway, I want you to say, I want to share, like, okay, we're not reading the Bhagavatam. We haven't read the Bhagavatam. We're going to now, but hearing these people's stories,
Is the
meeting the
Bhagavatam.
others, meeting the Zoomers, it's important stuff. They're good
doubt.
people. They're part
No
of our
doubt.
community.
No, you don't have to convince me. I really enjoyed the past few shows.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chayava narotamam devim saraswatim vyastam tato jayamudirayat. Before he started the Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan. Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, the Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati utama shloke bhaktir bhavati neshtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Midatam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. So true. And my spiritual masters are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet.
Love hearing those munchies.
You know what's great, Kastuba? I'm
Yeah.
here with Sort of Swedish is here. Sort of Swedish was like, I'm going, I'm not going, I'm not going. I'm going. I went back and forth with her for like a month. And then she's like, I'm going. And now, come here, Sort of Swedish. Sort of Swedish. Put your face right in the camera. How was your trip?
It was incredible. It really was wildly transformative. And just being in association, I think, was one of the biggest pieces to also allow me to make like the next right spiritual steps for going home.
Boom.
Yeah.
That was it. The next right steps. There's a lot of
Boom.
steps to take, but are they going to be the correct steps? It's just, for example, if I'm an alcoholic and I'm looking for a girlfriend, who am I going to pick? Anybody. I'm an alcoholic. But if I'm like really careful about what I consume, about my diet, my health practices, who am I going to pick for a girlfriend? Well, you're going to have a smaller number of people to pick from, but who are those quality people? So as you raise your consciousness, you change your choices.
Exactly. Even leaving the eco village and coming here to the Trident, you know, it's like, oh, I can put on chakra meditation on the flat screen TV. I can read a little bit of the Gita. I can chant on the way in. I can order vegan Indian food to my room. So like learning how to spiritualize the material world also. And like bringing that consciousness in.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Good. She's spiritualizing the material world. Awesome.
Did you hey, Julia. Did you it was interesting that you said that. Are you familiar with what this next coming week's Sage Group's notes are about?
No,
Are you,
I don't
you
get that
weren't
kind of
privy to that?
intel.
You weren't privy to that? No, it's amazing that you said that, because this is what they are. You ready? What everyone will be discussing in the Sage Groups this coming week is the theme is striving for the next level of awakening. And basically it's just asking some questions. Here's the questions. Ready? What is my next
Ready.
level of awakening? You know, what
Okay,
do I
hold
need
on
to
one
realize?
second.
Yeah.
Chef Paul's here. I think this is speaking to Chef Paul right now.
Okay.
All right, say this again. This is important stuff. Chef
So
Paul,
this
listen.
is what they're going to be discussing in the Sage Groups this coming week. This is the theme. It says, our spiritual life advances in steps. With each step we take towards awakening, we realize something deeper than we understood it before. We need to always be asking ourselves, What is my next level of awakening? Okay, now here are the questions that are going to be asked to stimulate the dialogue in the sage groups. Here's the first one. What is my next level of awakening? What do I want to realize more deeply? What is the next step on my path? What could I let go of, or what could I embrace that will make a real difference in the awakening of my own self-realization, my dormant love for Krishna? Where do I want to be?
Your homework.
That's
No,
some serious
where do I want to?
work.
This is good stuff. Right? Where do I want to be 5 years from now, or 1 year, or even 1 month from now? And then, am I being lazy? What is holding me back from taking that next step?
That's a good question.
Mm.
What is holding me back?
Usually, it's just nonsense, right? It's just like I'm just
Something
spacing
that-
out on
yeah.
the internet or something like that, right?
What's yours, Costuba? You can tell me. You don't have to tell everybody. Tell me now.
I
Write
gotta
me
think
a
about
private
it.
message.
Actually, no, it's
write
got
me a
me
private
thinking.
message. You know, I won't
Okay.
show Mara.
Anyway, I thought I should.
Anyway,
Hey,
sort of Swedish. Proud of you.
sort of Swedish.
you. Couldn't have done it
Also, you
without
know, you shared with me that a lovely note that your father wrote to you after seeing you on this show like a week ago or
Mhm.
something like that. And
Did
I
we
think-
read that?
No,
should
I
read
sent
that
it to
eventually.
Costuba. I'm also waiting for my heavy question to be answered.
You got a
I'll
heavy
email
question?
you too.
Okay, it's been a
Yeah.
while since we got into the question. Maybe we can take it on Sunday.
Yeah,
Sure.
let's do questions this
Great.
weekend.
Yeah, no show tomorrow, but question and answers on Sunday's Q&A.
No show. It's a flower
Heavy question.
holiday. They said we should do the show at the flower festival during the flower festival. I don't know how
mean,
that could happen.
Well, it's
It's
not
like
during
chaos.
it's while you're waiting for it to happen, but it would be kind of like being like live from, you know, whatever,
Times
just
Square on New
Times
Year's
Square, yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Eve. That could be cool too. That's always cool.
Thank
All right,
you.
sort of Swedish. Thank you, Chef
Thank
Paul's
you.
pondering this, taking it all in. He's going deep. He's definitely come to new levels in his life, I think.
Chef
And
Paul is a really good guy. I like where he's coming from.
he's a good guy. He's sincere. He's a leader. He's charismatic. He's got great things to do in this world.
Okay.
You know who had a great time? Walter had a great time.
I don't know if we're gonna get to the Bhagavatam today. I was
Okay,
just
we're gonna
thinking
get
maybe
to
we
it.
should. Well, no. You know, I very much appreciate Walter as well.
Everybody loved him. It's
He had
hard
a
to
great
believe that
attitude.
3/4 of youth of today are in India right now.
3/4.
Well, Parmananda's in Jagannath Puri.
Oh, he's in Puri right now. Get out.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Okay, Sammy, we're coming for you, Sammy.
All right. I was wondering if
Okay,
we should
let's
read Julia's father's letter, or maybe we don't have permission to do that. Maybe we.
Do we have
do it
permission to
later.
read that? She says definitely. All right,
You
so
wanna hear
so
that?
if you don't know, sort of Swedish, her and her sister are into bhakti, got into bhakti, and had turned their life. And then in the turning of their life around and their transformation, their father, who I think they had a little distant relationship. He was an alcoholic, and then he just went sober, and they got him into bhakti. I love this idea of getting your parents into bhakti. It's the next phase. My mom, I can't say she's into bhakti, but she does dance in kirtans now. You've seen the videos I posted. Are you looking or are you frozen?
Oh yeah, you're talking to me. I'm looking for that message. If I'm trying to pull it, did you send it to me on WhatsApp?
You want sort of Swedish to read it? She's got it.
Oh yeah, if you got it, why don't you read it? That's all.
Yeah, come on.
This
It's
is
good.
touching.
Someone trying to get in.
So just frame it for us a little bit, Julia. You
Okay,
were on the show
so
recently.
I was on the show and sort of doing a little rundown on how I got there. And one of the most amazing pieces was that bhakti has become this nice, positive, constructive link, not only for my relationship with my father, but my sisters. And it's just really helped to like reconnect us.
Yeah, a little closer to the mic,
Because we've
please.
just had an estranged relationship, and it's been on and off for years as we've just uncovered things from the past and doing our own healing work. And he listened and then sent me this message the next day, which I'm happy to share.
Okay.
He said, "I watched you speak. It was wonderful. I loved the reactions from our buddies. I think you really touched them. I love you
Definitely.
so much and am so grateful that you have followed your heart and have arrived somewhere that you can actually open up to me and help me. I have not done much of that for you, and I hope I can grow to the place where I can help you as well. I need to forgive myself for all my mistakes and wrongdoings now that I can see it is actually very difficult to do. I have painted myself into a small corner, which is very unhealthy, but you and Eva, my sister, have helped me to put my foot out there and test the waters by opening my heart to Bhakti. I have cracked open the door. I have cracked open the door. Now I need to open it wider and get myself out to a place where I can love myself and feel the need to serve others and the Lord and my family. But I ramble sort of Swedish. You could have really got them going knowing that you're also Greek and Lebanese. Thank you so much for letting me in and teaching me to be a better person.
That was beautiful.
What's your
That
father's
was
name?
beautiful.
Jim.
Jim, thank you so much for sending that in. And we're so glad that you're listening, and we're so glad that you're in a sage group along with both of your daughters.
Amazing.
And
He's
we
put
know
us
that
to
you've
shame now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I know that obviously you've been through a lot in life, but it's inspiring to me to hear how you're just like taking this up. You know, it's yesterday we're hearing about like parents learning about this from their kids, and you know that takes some humility, doesn't it? To just say, you know, my kids maybe know
think
something
so.
that I don't know. You know?
It's a lot. It's a lot for we live in our egos generally. So when we hear our kid and he's got some wisdom, and all of a sudden I become the child and the kids become the parents. Yeah, that's a little humiliating or humbling or
It
role
just means
reversal.
you have some humility. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for listening.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Sort of
you.
Swedish.
He's calling you sort of Swedish now.
Alrighty. Where we at?
We are.
Okay, I already did all the prayers.
Yeah, Mara's going to tell us
Mara's
where.
like,
I think I know where we're at if she doesn't.
Vacation.
Canto 5, chapter 3, text 14.
Text 14.
Dear Lord, unless one
Now, who's
worships the
speaking?
lotus feet of the great
Hold
devotees.
it. Little context, Raghunath. It's been over a week since we got.
I went right into the dramatic reading.
Yeah, let's hold up. You know what's happening?
Where
now?
are we? Who's talking here? Krishna
So,
and Arjuna, where are we?
There was a king, King Nabhi.
King Nabhi.
He's got his priests together, and they're doing rituals for the purpose of calling upon Lord Vishnu's grace that he might have the birth of a son. And now the priests are speaking, and then Lord Vishnu appeared right there, like he showed up. This is early time in the history of the universe. Maybe it was more likely that would happen back then. I don't know.
It could happen now. God is all powerful.
Now. Yes.
People
and
sincere people out there.
And so then now the priests are speaking to Lord Vishnu, and they're speaking quite frankly. They're saying, you know what we're doing right now is really not the highest way to approach you, and we're a little embarrassed about it. You know, you're showing up here. We're asking you for something that we really should be coming to you with devotion. We're coming to you asking for stuff. It really doesn't reflect so well on us. They're saying it like that. They've got humility. Okay. Text 14.
Ready?
Yeah.
Dear
dramatic
Lord,
reading, please. Yes.
Dear Lord, unless one worships the lotus feet of the great devotees, one will be conquered by the illusory energy, and his intelligence will be bewildered. Indeed, who has not been carried away by the waves of material enjoyment, which are like poison. Your illusory energy is unconquerable. No one can see the path of this material energy or tell how it is working. Yep.
We are trapped.
Yep.
Right? We're in a
been
big
there,
trap.
done that.
Yeah.
It's a glue trap, the material energy. It's like a very attractive glue trap. Oh, Lord, you perform many wonderful activities. Our only aim was to acquire a son by performing this great sacrifice. Therefore, our intelligence is not very sharp.
You see,
we are not experienced in ascertaining life's goal. By inviting you to this negligible sacrifice for some material motive, We have certainly committed a great offense at your lotus feet. Therefore, O Lord of Lords, please excuse our offense because of your causeless mercy and equal mind.
So
Worshiping God for something puny.
So the Bhagavatam is again and again and again illustrating that there are higher goals in life than wanting the things of this world. And ultimately the goal is pointing towards is divine love. That's the goal.
Not praying for stuff. Not praying for stuff. Yeah?
Okay.
Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, the priests who were even worshipped by King Nabi, the emperor of Bhartvarsh, offered prayers in prose. Generally, they were in poetry. Hold it. What's the difference between prose and poetry? Mara, you went to private school.
Prose, I think it means it's not necessarily, it's written or spoken in its ordinary form without
okay, not necessarily a rhyme scheme,
without meter,
or a without meter. Okay, Chef Paul knew that. I thought Mara would be all over that with that private school. Chef Paul, where do you go to school, Chef Paul? Private school, all boy Catholic school. Okay, there you go. All right. Okay. All right. Continuing on. We just got a real talkative crew here today.
You didn't finish 16.
16. The Lord of the Lords, so the ruler of the demigods, was very pleased with them, and he began to speak as follows. This is Vishnu speaking.
Yeah.
O great sages, I am certainly very pleased with your prayers. You are truthful. You have prayed for the benediction of a son like me for King Nabi. But this is very difficult to obtain, since I am the supreme person without a second. And since no one is equal to me, another personality like me is not possible to find. In any case, because you are all qualified brahmanas, your vibrations should not prove untrue. I consider the brahmanas who are well qualified with Brahminical qualities to be as good as my own mouth.
It's interesting, right? The idea here is that within society, there is a group of people who are so ethically committed that it was just like deeply ingrained to them to speak only truth. And that they were so committed that Vishnu is saying, they're so committed to it, I want that whatever comes out of their mouth become true. And so because you've said this, I will make it true. You know?
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Prabhupada say one of his missions is, or maybe the most important mission is, to reestablish a Brahminical class of people?
He would say that in so many ways. Like if sometimes he would show up at an airport and be interviewed, or in some other kind of interview, and people would say, well, what are you doing here? What's your thing? And he would say, now he would use this phrase a lot. He would say, I'm here to create a class of, he would say, first class men. You know, but what he meant by that, because certainly he was interested in doing this with ladies as well, right? He wanted to instill deep yogic spiritual ethics. He wanted to create a pool of people, right, that had deep spiritual values, that live them, that could exemplify them and speak them, to give guidance, to give good, clear guidance in the world. So yeah, he wanted to create brahmanas. That's what he meant by like first class, right? He wanted
what does that basically mean? Those who can't be purchased. They can't be swayed. You can't shove like a, here is a suitcase full of $100 bills. Now I want you to, do this for me, work for me, change the laws for me. No, they can't be purchased. Why? Because they're actually very happy with nothing. Isn't it interesting that you can have absolutely nothing
external
and be be like a street living, homeless, intoxicated, or mental and unstable person? When we think of like homeless people, or we think of like people who are dirty, unclean, what we basically would view it as is a tamasic lifestyle. But this was a culture of, quote, homeless, like simple living people, but they're like ridiculously clean, regulated, wake up early, learned, but they're happy with nothing. They've trained themselves to be completely happy in a poverty-stricken condition. And because of it, they can be looked to for good counsel. Amazing is that?
It's society needs that. Yeah, what they're happy with is they're happy with the knowledge that they have within, you know? Like they're happy with the vision they've been granted to see the world, which allows them to let go of material attachments, you know, and relish something deeper within. That's all they need, you know? Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and dharma. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work.
Well, Prabhupada, it's going to happen. It's happening already, creating a brahminical class of human. I just figure out, like, I must be just like, I didn't make that cut, but I'm somehow still in the picture. You know what I mean? Okay, I didn't make that. I didn't become what Prabhupada wanted me to be, but
no.
I'm still on the team, right? I'm still on the team. Please, I'll be a cheerleader for the team. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
In this lifetime.
Okay, so now let's hear we can finish this chapter. There's only a few verses left.
Since I cannot find anyone equal to me, is Lord Vishnu speaking, I shall personally expand myself into a plenary portion, and thus advent myself in the womb of Meru Devi, the wife of Maharaj Nabi, the son of Agnidra. Isn't that interesting?
Agnidra.
The idea of this virgin birth. It's so funny how they claim, the Christians claim, like, yeah, we took this. This is what those missionaries tried to claim. Like, they took this whole idea of birth of Krishna. They copied the Bible. This is some new book they have. We've been talking about incarnations being born forever. This was thousands of years before Christ. Krishna was born, the birth of Ram, the birth of Shiva, baby Ganesh. This is all going on in our books
little baby Ganesh.
Little baby Ganesh. Sweet baby Ganesh. Little elfin head on him.
You're getting a little Ganesh bob going now that you're in Mumbai, aren't you?
Hey, you know what? It was Ganesh Chaturdasi the other day. And this is a big Ganesh town.
The other day, that's like back in the summer. Ganesh
No,
Chaturdasi.
it was 2 days ago, Baba.
No.
What? I was eating the sweets of Ganesh the other day.
Okay, that might have been another Ganesh holiday, but the Ganesh Chaturdasi is back in like August or September.
Google that, please.
Yeah. But you know what I was thinking today too? Because part of the ritual today, you were assisting the priest at one point, Raghunath, right?
Yeah. Why did they garland me first? I felt
because you're so worthy.
I felt like sort of like this guy's such a dum-dum. Little good boy, you get the garland first.
You're so mental. They were honoring you.
Hooray for me. I did good, right, Kastuba?
They were honoring.
I sort of felt like it was an obligatory garland. Like, it was awkward. It was awkward.
Absolutely
not.
Because you brought so many nice people to come there. What are you talking about? You're their teacher. They're honoring the teacher.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
How could you get so mental about that? But here's my point.
Case.
The fire was the mouth of Lord Vishnu, but they're also calling various devas to be present, including Agni, the god of fire, and Ganesha, Lord Ganesh. And then they offered sweets into the fire, and you were holding one modak.
Modak, that's a Ganesh sweet.
Yeah, that was good. And I was wondering how you felt throwing that beautiful shaped modak. It's got this beautiful shape to it. And it's got
it looks like a Hershey Kiss, a giant Hershey Kiss,
or even
it's
more
it's like a milk sweet with sugar candy in it.
It reminds me of like in Russia that church that they have there in Moscow. You know, with those you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, little whippy
steeples or whatever you call them.
Whippy dippy steeple.
What is that place called?
I don't know what it's called. What's that place in Russia called? I don't know.
Mara, help us out here. You know
help
what we're
us,
talking
Mara.
about, right?
You're just she's still looking up old Sturbridge Village back here.
Mara, you've been tanning and shopping, and come on, we need you on this.
She's tanning, she's shopping. Malibu Mara is going to Goa. Get ready. All right.
But you know,
I'm meeting so many others today, Prabhu. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
It's
I met some
ridiculous.
too. Did you meet Gopi Mata and her whole crew?
I just did. She
Yeah,
came
I
up
did
to me
too.
and she was just like, "Thank you, wisdom of the sage." She was so sweet. Thank you,
Very
wisdom of the
sweet.
sages.
Her whole crew was
You
very
know, I
sweet.
met Gopi Mata in Lawrence, Kansas when shelter we were brahmacharis we went through. That's where I met all the guys from Manipur, swinging the swords, banging the drums, hitting each other with axes. It's a whole thing. Anyway, that's another story.
But my question, my thought was, how did you feel taking that modak and throwing it into the fire? That must have been difficult.
It hurt. He's like, "Here's this beautiful sweet, throw it in the fire." I was like, "Really? Can't we just like wave it in circles? We have to actually throw it into the fire." So I threw it in the fire, but little did I know, you give the fire a modak, you get 10 back. He gave me like a stack of these. And then because the diet meister is right behind me, I was like, okay, I got to distribute these. I can't eat this.
Oh,
can't eat
you didn't
this.
turn to me. You're supposed to feed the
gave 'em away.
brahmanas
I
over
gave 'em
here.
I gave them away. Maybe that was a lesson.
All right.
St. Basil's Cathedral, Mara says. I don't know what
St.
you're talking
Basil's?
about.
St. Basil's Cathedral?
St. Basil's.
Basil's Cathedral.
Yeah,
but
that's it.
Everyone
That's it.
knows
The
the tops
place
of that.
Sort of looks like some strange, Epcot Center, Disneyland-ish
It
place.
reminds me of those Modak sweets. They're very beautiful. A lot of times you'll see paintings of Ganesh and he has one in his palm. Got that shape.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, to make a easier picture, Hershey's Kiss.
Okay,
Hershey's Kiss, a little bigger, 3 times the size.
Okay.
But
Two more verses.
Okay.
2 more verses.
Continuing on, we're almost done. 7:57. Let's go quick. Sukadeva Goswami continued. After saying this, the Lord disappeared. I did.
He said, what he said was, I'm going to come and be the son here. I'm going to enter into the womb of Meru Devi. You're praying that you'll get a son. I'm going to be your son.
I wonder if that's like a virgin birth.
I'm not sure. Not sure.
Doesn't mention it in the commentary. After saying this, the Lord disappeared. The wife of King Nabi, Queen Meru Devi, was sitting by the side of her husband, and consequently, she could hear everything the Supreme Lord had spoken.
Imagine how psyched she was. Lord Vishnu is going to enter into my womb and become my own son.
How do you even have sex?
Why are you even going there? What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, if your consciousness is so high like that, it's like beyond lust. I'm not trying to be weird. I'm just saying it's like you're so high on God.
You may not be trying.
Anyway, it must be. I believe it probably was a virgin birth.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. O Vishnu, Sukadeva Goswami continued. After saying this, the Lord disappeared. The wife of King Nabi, Queen Meru Devi, was sitting by the side of her husband, and consequently, she could hear everything the Supreme Lord had spoken.
And she was
O Maharaj Pricket, the personality of Godhead was pleased by the great sages at that sacrifice. Consequently, the Lord decided to personally exhibit the method of executing dharma, religious principles, as observed by brahmacharis, sannyasis, vanaprasthas, and grihastas engaged in rituals, and also satisfy Maharaj Nabi's desire. Consequently, he appeared as the son of Meru Devi in his original spiritual form, which is above the modes of material nature.
In that form will be? Who's he going to be? Who's he going to appear as? Tick tock, tick tock, tick. Rishabdev. He's coming as Rishabdev next chapter. Very interesting
we're
stuff.
In.
All right.
Well, that's good.
That's it.
Mara, come on down, Mara.
Oh yeah.
Get your face out of your phone.
It's been like over a week since you've done takeaways.
Takeaways. You thought your job got easier? What do you think we pay you this huge salary for?
Well, I didn't think I'd be doing takeaways today, so I have a few things.
There was a couple good ones on the board. Did you see that?
Well,
I'll find them.
Okay, you find them and I'll start. Hear truth on a regular basis.
Don't touch the monkey. Don't touch the monkey.
Thanks. Material energy is a glue trap.
Really is. The waves.
There are higher goals in life than just getting stuff.
Don't feed
True.
monkeys, maybe.
I'm getting to the monkeys. It's my final one. Leave.
Yeah.
Stop spoiling it.
Yeah.
What is standing in the way of my spiritual advancement?
Very good.
Yeah. What's the next step? What's the next step?
What's the next step? Society needs more brahmanas.
For sure.
And watch out for monkeys on cliffs.
Oh, you had monkeys in there.
I
Sorry
think
for the spoiler.
Laura Marker, Trap Down Under, said she is currently in Bali by a cliff with lots of monkeys.
Yeah, be careful. Maybe that message is for you. Maybe my mom said it all these years for you.
Yeah.
And on that note, there's another very important message my mom pounded into my head for about 50 years. Never,
Don't go
ever,
to the cops.
No, never, ever.
Do they all start with never,
yes, Mara
ever?
knows it. Never skip rope while eating a stone fruit. You could choke on it. She had a girlfriend that choked on a peach pit. No one could help her. She died right in front of everybody's eyes. That's how the streets of Brooklyn were back then. It was cruel. It was harsh.
Do they all start with never, ever?
My whole life was fear-based instructions.
Okay.